My name is Mel Barton. I'm head of the costume workrooms at the Opera House. I think the costume is a very, very important element of a production because it really does help to set the scene. It really does help to tell the story. The costume interprets the role in many ways. It describes the character by fabric, by shape, by period, and generally enhances the story and helps to tell the story. When you get to be creating your own costume, you really need to begin with research. You need to find out as much as you possibly can about your character, about the story, the inspiration. You need to think about fabrics, how you're going to tell that story, how you're going to interpret that costume. You need to think about your character's role within that story. You need to think about what they need to do on stage. You need to think about the period that you're going to set it in. You'll need to research the history of the construction of that period. So really as much research as you can do is going to help you create a beautiful costume. When you begin your work on your costume, you'll be given a brief. The brief will be partly the costume design, it'll be partly describing the fabrics, it will be partly talking about the character. So I think the first thing to look at is probably the design and the shape. Then you think about the character, how he's going to tell that story. Then you think about the fabrics that might work for that shape, but also for the character himself. If it's a very delicate piece and a very delicate story, then you're looking at lightweight fabrics, fabrics that will float. If it's a very powerful piece, a very strong story, then you're looking at heavy fabrics, leathers and plastics. Again, fabrics and ideas that are going to help tell that story. The designer creates a two-dimensional drawing, and it's the costume cutter, costume maker that turns those 2 dimensions into 3. They'll work with the designer to see how that shape is going to evolve. They'll need to know where they're going to put their seam lines. They'll need to know the history or the period of the costume in order to do that. Sometimes you may compromise on some of the period detail in order to create the shape or to give the character the movement you need to. But these things have to be worked out with the costume maker and the cutter and the designer working together. You also, of course, need to talk to the person that's going to wear it because they're going to have to do what they need to do in the costume that you're creating. If you're interested in a career in costume design or costume making, I think your first project really is to source a good course. There are many courses in costume interpretation, costume making in and around London and the UK. I think then it would be a really good idea to start to get involved in theatre, in work placements, applying to the various repertory theatres to see if you can get a placement for a week or 2. It's also quite good if you can get a part-time in a local rep theatre or in a London West End theatre. You can do a dressing job or you can work front of house. I think it's really going to help you to get involved with the environment and start to feel if it's right for you.